Okay, welcome back. We are talking about working with vendors. We've already gone through and talked about setting the vendor, merging them up, and now I want to tell you how to pay the bills. There are people that don't put their bills in QuickBooks. They actually just put them on their desk and pull it out when they have to pay. That's okay. Your accounting is going to be correct. However, you need to put your bills in so that you can run reports anytime and see who you owe, how much do you have unpaid. Entering bills is pretty easy. All you need to do is on your home screen, you'll see what says enter bills. The first thing you notice at the top that it assumes that this is a bill, but it might be a credit that your customer vendor issued to you. So the first thing you want to do is put in the name of your vendor. Since this vendor is not already in the list, it's going to tell me that I could quickly add them or go to set it up. Now, if I need the address and all that, I probably need to go to the setup options, but I'm gonna click on quick add and I can add all those informations after. First thing you see here is the date option. Now you want to make sure that this date corresponds with the date that is currently on with the bill that you've received. You want to make sure that's the date that you plug in right here. If the bill says that it was printed on the 7th, that's what you put in here. Now, I'm going to tab real quick because I want you to notice that this bill due date will automatically default to 10 days. That's because we don't have any terms set up for these vendors, depending on which terms we choose for. Now, notice that this bill due date has changed. Now, back up to the reference number. I would put their invoice number right in this slot here. The amount due, this is where you're going to put in how much you owe for this particular bill. And notice there's a place for a memo. If you wanted to say anything, you could right here. You'll notice in the tab, there are two tabs, is expenses and items. When you're actually filling in a check or bill or anything, you'll always have these two tabs. You can have money under both these as long as they both total the amount you have here. That will be fine. If you have on even 1 penny extra, it will not let you save. So when I click here, I'll get the down arrow and I'll be able to go down the list and pick the account that I want. You do have a place for memo and also for customer and job. If this is a bill for something that is directly related to a customer and a job you're related in, you want to fill this in with that customer name. Let's say I picked this customer. Notice that this is now checked. That means it's billable. I can put as many line items in here as I need to. A couple of things up at the top I just want to mention. You're familiar with these arrows to take you next or previous. If you're searching through your bills, you can use that to search. Remember, I keep telling you that everything in QuickBooks is in date order. So the previous one may not be the one you just entered. So if you can't find it using these arrows, there's that find option here. If you know any of the criteria, you could type it here and you'll find it. Here is where you can create a new bill. It will actually create a new one and save the one you're on. And that's the exact same thing as save a new at the bottom. Here's your save option. If you just want to save everything you've done right now, you can do that. And now here's the delete. You can delete your bills from here if you don't want it for any reasons. Notice you can just void it out. Void would leave the bill, but it would put 0 where it says amount due. If you needed another bill just like this, create a copy and just change that one thing that you need. You can also memorize this bill. So if you know that every single month you're going to have to pay this utility bill, you could memorize it so that at the end of every month, the first of the month, you could just change the amount. That way it keeps you from entering this all the time. I could print this bill if I want. I could attach a file. We haven't talked about PO yet, but if we do, you could see that you could select a PO right from here. You could pay the bill from here, but chances are you're not going to be on this screen when you're going to pay this bill. So there's an option for that on the home screen. Now looking at the report tab here, there's several reports that have to do with bills in general, not specifically this one. Some that you want to be familiar with is this unpaid bills details. These are things that you haven't yet paid. And then also the vendor bill detail. It's going to show you the vendors and all the items that have to do with that particular vendor. Let me run one of this and just show you. Here's the vendor balance detail. You see how it shows you everything that happened with that vendor? And then let me go back and run the unpaid bill details, and you can see this is everything you have not yet paid. So it's going to show you each of the bill, the date, the aging, the balance, all of that. So that's pretty easy. That's all you have to do as far as entering bills. I'm gonna go ahead and save and close at the bottom. And if I've changed something like the terms, or maybe I've changed the address right here, it would ask me if I want this new information to appear the next time, and I'll just say yes. And that's pretty much all this is. That's to entering your bills. You just kind of have to keep up with it. So let's go ahead and go over to the next section, and I'll show you how to pay the bills that you've entered.